as Will Hutton, in surely the parody of all parodies in today's Guardian and Observer, claims that Joe Biden's nifty footwork has tied his opponents in knots, that Joe Biden is a political wizard. I'm not making this up. It's in the Observer today that Joe Biden is the acme of liberal Western political leadership. And in fact, that much, at least, is true. And therein lies the problem. Now, as John McEnroe once said, you cannot be serious running this guy again for president for another 4 years. A guy who cannot control his bowels in the presence of His Holiness the Pope. A guy who cannot find his way off a platform. A guy who trips over imaginary matchsticks on television, live in front of august and significant audiences. A guy who can't speak without an earpiece, literally telling him what words to say, and he still cannot say them. A guy not fit to be sent out for a loaf. As my good friend Lionel says, would you ask Joe Biden to pick you up from the airport? As I say to parents and grandparents, would you let Joe Biden look after your children or your grandchildren? A guy who has his finger on the nuclear trigger. A guy whose leadership is being accepted by the prime ministers and presidents of all the countries of the Western world, even though his orders are taking us off a cliff at the bottom of which lies absolute destruction. Taking leadership from John Kennedy or even Bill Clinton is one thing. Are you really prepared to say that Joe Biden is your leader? Are you really with Will Hutton? That Joe Biden's nifty footwork has outfoxed all of his rivals? That Joe Biden is the best thing since sliced bread, even though I say he's not fit to send out to buy the bread? That's the new dividing line in politics, you see. It's not left and right. It's, are you prepared to follow the old man wherever he wants to go? Are you seriously going to run him again in November? And are more than 80 million people going to vote for him again in November of next year? That is, of course, assuming that more than 80 million people did actually vote for him in the first place. I see that YouTube is now allowing people to question whether or not there was electoral fraud in the 2020 presidential election. Thanks, Mr. YouTube. Let me say that I don't believe for one single moment that this clown, this senile dotard, won the last presidential election. I believe that it was rigged. I believe the election was interfered with by the deep state of the United States, by the CIA, by the FBI, working in conjunction with the Clinton, Obama, Biden gang. That's what I believe. And now on YouTube, at least, I'm allowed, finally, to say it.